Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 169 of the Vex on Vex Podcast. My name is Vex X, joined as always with my dear friend Dave.
What's going on? 69, dude.
Episode 169. Now we are simulcasting. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube.
Moving up in the world.
And we're trying to do this. Now the lighting on the Facebook is wacky, I'm not going to lie.
We're doing big things across multiple platforms.
Well, we're trying.
We're trying.
Your hair looks glorious. I see you prepared for the camera today.
I did not at all.
You say you did your hair?
I showered yesterday before I went to work. That's literally all that happened.
That's all that happened.
I just was making an effort not to be filthy.
I was making an effort, sir.
I tried. Much like we're trying the multiple platform podcast today.
This camera's already sliding down.
Oh no! Technical difficulties out the gate.
11 seconds. All right,
Okay.
all right.
Work out.
We have a hit list today.
We have a hit list every week.
We have a hit list. My dear friend Firepants has a thing that happened in the ShopRite parking lot where she's employed.
It involves fire.
Firepants and the parking lot. Okay, but Alec Baldwin, hot take.
Oh boy, Alec Baldwin.
What are your thoughts?
You know what? Do I think he meant to shoot that girl on set? Probably no. Do I think he's just a genuinely bad person and I kind of just don't like the guy and don't really care what happens to him? Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
You know, all actors are kind of baby shit, right?
Not all of them, I feel like.
Oh, you're wrong. You want a list?
I feel like Keanu Reeves is a pretty normal dude. Like, they always say he's pretty normal.
Pretty shitty actor, turns out.
Eh,
He plays himself in every movie except...
So does Nicolas Cage, and he's terrible. I hate Nicolas Cage. I have a big
All
hatred
right,
for
now,
Nicolas
the
Cage.
fact that you bring up Nicolas Cage is a thing.
Go ahead.
Have you ever seen Moonlighting?
Yes.
No, wrong show. Fuck. No, what's it called?
Moonstruck.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is not Nicolas Cage in that movie.
Yay.
No! I just saw this shit 3 days ago with Cher on cable. It's a great fucking film.
I'm
It's
aware.
delightful.
I've seen it a million times. It's one of my wife's favorites.
It's a great movie. And he, in that movie, is not Nicolas Cage. Admit it. Admit it.
All right. I'll begrudgingly give you that point.
And what's fucked up about that movie, he's like 24 in that movie.
Yeah.
And she's like 40. Now, he doesn't play someone who's 24. He plays someone who's like 38, 35. And they aged him a little bit, just like in Peggy Sue Got Married, again, where he does not play Nicolas Cage.
All right. You know what? Fine. I'll give you some of Nicolas Cage's earlier work was not just Nicolas Cage.
When do you feel, as a viewer, he jumped the shark to only be Nicolas Cage in all of his shit?
Con Air?
Yeah, that's kind of sucked. But he had the southern accent.
Yeah,
Remember
so
that?
it was Nicolas Cage with a bad fake accent. I can do that at a party. That's not acting.
The one that I saw a couple times is the San Francisco one with James Bond's in it. Fuck, what's that one called?
I don't know.
It's right after Con Air. It's like the next movie.
No, I don't know.
He's Agent something.
The Rock.
The Rock's really
The Rock
good.
with Sean Connery.
But he's just playing Nicolas Cage.
I was literally trying to figure out which James Bond you meant, and that's what threw me off.
That's the only James Bond there is, man.
Untrue.
Who's your favorite Bond?
Sean Connery.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's
He's
the only
my
one.
favorite,
That's the one there is.
But what was it? After that, there was what?
Here's what. Oh no,
Roger Moore was the worst. Roger Moore was my
one of them
favorite
only had
Bond.
one movie. Moore's not
might
the.
have been Roger Moore. Pierce Brosnan was decent when he did it.
See, for me, he was just Remington Steele in a movie.
Okay,
Like,
but still, that's, at least he wasn't Pierce
The
Brosnan.
Daniel Craig guy's pretty cool.
Yeah, I kind of really dig him, but it doesn't really quite fit the Bond mold a whole 100%. But the films are cool. I was never a huge Bond fan to begin with. Like, it never really did it for me.
No, I think they'd be British or something, or really, like a boomer. If you're a boomer, it's like a thing.
Yeah.
We're not boomers.
Yeah, we're close.
Gen X, motherfucker. We're not. I was raised by boomers. So were you.
That's true.
Fucking close. The fuck out of here.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I have beef.
But anyway, what's your thoughts on Alec Baldwin?
I want to do the baby. Oh.
Oh shit! What happened?
There's a spot on my ceiling,
Oh, there is.
and I just fixed that fucking roof.
You
Anyway,
should call a roofer.
now I gotta paint it again. Motherfucker. That sucks. It did rain heavy the other day though.
It certainly did.
Upsetting. Anyway, all right. I'm gonna start with something else and then go back to Alec Baldwin.
Okay.
I love a show called The Shield. Like I love it. Like it's like one of my favorite shows ever.
Michael
ever.
Chiklis, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
love it. In 2019, pre-pandemic, they did like a Shield reunion where all the people who didn't murder their wives and was in prison, because one of the actors did, sat around, not all the actors, but a lot of them, and they discussed it. And at the end of it, they all cried. All the men cried because they're soft as baby shit. And like, the Shield's tough. No, they're playing tough.
Correct.
And like, actors are just, and listen, I'm not talking about sexuality. This is important. I don't mean like they're gay or something, but they're very weak and feminine, and musicians are like tougher, frankly.
I would agree to a certain extent. Musicians, for the most part, like musicians that we favorite, yes.
But like, I don't know, like I wouldn't, I don't like the Rolling Stones. I don't want to fight the Rolling Stones when they're 30 years old or 25 years old.
Probably not.
I could fight some actors.
Oh, 100%.
I'm not a, so anyway, actors are just fake and soft as baby shit. I dated an actress in the 90s.
So here's an interesting take on that.
Yes.
If you are, as you put it, a soft little bitch, right?
Yes.
Does it somehow lend you to molding yourself into certain situations to appear more palatable to depending on the group of people you're around?
No, this is...
And does that become the basis of acting?
Keanu Reeves is not a good actor. And we all like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
And all that shit that he does as John Wick, he physically trained and can do as John Wick.
Which is pretty awesome.
So I'm not fighting Keanu Reeves ever.
No, probably not.
If he was a good actor and he was De Niro level of actor, I feel like I could beat up Keanu Reeves. So maybe there is a thing to it where you have to be like nothing and just like nothing, so you can, like you said, shape into things. Like,
right.
I don't know, man.
You have to be malleable.
That is the adjective of the day.
Much like baby shit, like you said.
They're just soft.
You have to be soft to be
They're
malleable.
just, and like,
right?
I can't, like, actors are just pussies. And here's the thing. All right, I had a discussion yesterday.
Whereas an actor would, and to your point that you think musicians are not, you know, it's 180 degrees in the opposite direction if you really think about it. An actor prides themselves and makes himself better by being that person. People like musicians and rock stars because they go on stage and do the exact opposite. Here I am, fucking deal with it. This is who I am.
Embrace who I am.
Yeah.
Okay, that might be the whole thing. That might be the whole fucking gig, actually.
I feel like maybe it is. I feel like I've stumbled upon one of the great mysteries of the universe today.
I just think that actors are shit.
I agree. I really do.
And I watch TV a lot. I watch films a lot. I enjoy these things. I'm not a news person when I watch television. Fuck news. I watch things that are creative. And I do like actors, to watch them, to know them as people. And there's this movie called a series called, I can't even think of the name of it. It starts with a Barry, that's on HBO.
Oh, Barry.
Have you seen that?
No.
Number one, it's really, really good. Number two, it shows that actors are complete pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Like, it just shows it. They're just all about their stupid career, and they will step on anyone to do anything.
Yeah, and you have to be some level of, like, bizarrely self-important to do it.
I mean, we're bizarrely self-important, too. You want 1,000 people to fucking watch you on stage, there's something wrong with you.
Also true.
But... I don't know. There's people, there's chats. People are watching.
Oh boy, look at that. There's 3 comments on there. I can see them. I can't see what it says from here.
The camera's too far away.
Okay. But there it is. And here we are on multiple platforms.
So, to sum it up, Alec Baldwin has been in movies for 40 years.
Right.
35 years. In that 35 years, he's handled weapons dozens of times. He was a producer on the film.
Right.
He is liable because I was explained by other actors who were baby shit. Every time you pick up a weapon, since Brendan Lee got murdered 30 years ago on fucking film.
Yeah.
And by the way, that wasn't a bullet. Did you know that story?
I did not.
He wasn't killed by a bullet. They had fired a bunch of blanks.
Yeah.
And there was a piece of paper in the barrel from the blank.
Uh-huh.
They put the next blank in, and the blank hit it so hard it projectiled into his abdomen and killed him.
So there are still even when you fire a blank, there is still a pieces of wadding and
Yes.
casing that are in there that I mean, it's a gunshot.
Yes.
It's going to be projected out of there
At a high velocity.
Ridiculous amounts of velocity. So whatever's in there, yes, can kill you.
So that was an honest mistake. They didn't clean the barrel.
Right.
Oops. But this one's a real bullet and a real gun. Now, the armorer on set, I'm going off on a tangent. I do apologize.
No, it's fine because I know where you're going with this, and I heard this myself.
Well, the armorer had the guns out that morning, and they were shooting off rounds
in the desert, like out in the desert,
before they did production that day.
Yeah, bad call.
I mean, here's the thing. It's not if you do your job. If you take out 7 weapons, right, at 6 o'clock in the morning when it was, or 8 o'clock in the morning, and you don't film until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you have 7 weapons you have to just completely empty. Not that complicated, let's be honest.
Right.
But she was young, and she was not experienced, and she got it because her father was a great armorer. Go ahead.
And why else did she get it?
What do you mean?
So, in the midst, I believe the movie was called Rust they were making.
Okay.
Again, Alec Baldwin himself was the producer.
Yes.
He was the executive producer of the film.
But there's like 5 of them, to be honest.
And he was the star of the film. In making this movie, he circumvented a bunch of like studio things and like wasn't using like the typical like union.
No, exactly. Nobody was union. That's true.
He had hired all of these people because they were not part of the Screen Actors Guild and the union
for cheaper,
the Teamsters or whatever, and got a real cheap deal on it. So if you think about it in those terms, if you look at it that way, he's a bit more responsible than just, oh, I fired a gun that somebody gave me that happened to have a bullet in it. Don't you think?
Well, no. So here's what I got. I didn't finish my
If
thought.
you yourself willingly hired unqualified people to put a roof on somebody's house.
I do all the time. I do. I took my friend Will T from the band Doghouse.
But don't you oversee every little
aspect.
bit of everything?
Every aspect.
Well, apparently that's what you have to do when you hire unprofessional people.
However,
which he did not do.
Every actor says, even if you're just the actor and not the executive producer, when they hand you a weapon, it is your responsibility to check your weapon, to show it to the person you're firing it. They check it, you check it. Now we fucking film.
Yes.
And all the actors got on TV and said this shit. They were like, listen, he should have checked the fucking gun himself.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Fucking armorer, you did it. Check if there's live rounds in there. Because a bullet looks different than a blank. It just does. And that one had a fucking cylinder. So just open the weapon and look at it. It would have taken you seconds.
If nothing else, I mean, at its basic thing, like there's at the very least a liability issue there.
And then somebody asked this amazing question, and I don't have an answer for it. Why are there any real guns on set ever?
Right.
Toy guns in the 1980s looked so perfect.
Yeah, that you would never know the difference.
Especially
on
on a set where you can do anything later and add in fire and all this shit.
Right.
I don't know. There should be. I don't know. I don't care. Lady's dead. That's sad as fuck.
It is.
And then here's the thing. You know he's not going to jail, right?
Yeah, he's gonna pay his way out of it.
Well, not even that. They're gonna suspend the sentence, air quotes, I guarantee. He had to be charged, but it's like if you hit somebody with your car and you're not drunk, you can get the same charge. Do you understand what I'm saying? But then nothing happens to you because you didn't fucking really do anything wrong, but someone died.
Right.
What it opens it up for is that this guy, the husband of the late person, can now file a fucking, isn't that? I said a fucking. They can file. They can file a lawsuit that he's liable. That's about what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think honestly, and like you said, what it really, unfortunately, will boil down to is that no, he won't do any jail time. He'll get some suspended sentence or probation out of the criminal aspect of it, but it will most likely aid in any family member's attempt to get money from a civil lawsuit.
Which they already kind of made nice on Twitter and stuff. Like, I don't think the husband's not going to sue. The husband wants to work in the industry, wink, wink, so he'll just put up with it.
So he's a soft baby shit actor too.
Well, he's in the business. So, and I know he's behind the scenes. He's not an actor, but he's like production or whatever the fuck he is. So he'll just play ball. And that's the gig.
That's a pretty hard ball to swallow, though.
Is it? What if you hate your wife? You don't know. I've married a lot. You like your wife, so you can't identify with this man's killing.
Quite a bit, actually.
All right, I want to shift gears from Alec Baldwin. The fire pants story.
Fire pants.
Fire pants.
I have some concerns about this.
What are your concerns?
Well, I'll let you tell the story first.
No. I want to hear the concerns. Let me readjust the camera. That keeps fucking up. What's your concerns?
I'm starting to wonder if our friend Fire Pants there, she's got a thing for the firemen.
She doesn't have a thing for firemen, hence her name.
She's not surrounded by fires.
No, this one wasn't her fault.
She's not a budding arsonist. We're clear of that aspect.
It would have happened by now.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, if you really, really want firemen to come where you are, set a fire. I'm just saying.
Wow. You might be a bad person.
Who, me?
Yes.
Why?
You know what's occurring to me now?
What?
We don't see the comments on that screen over there.
No, we don't. But there are several. I can see that.
We didn't test that microphone.
We have no idea.
We just plugged it in.
All those comments just say, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
I hope that's a thing. I really hope it is.
Pull your phone out and check my fucking live and see if there's anything that makes sense. Don't play the volume on. That'll be weird.
I'm trying.
If they say they can't hear us, you can check the chats. But I will tell the fire pants story whenever you're ready.
Go ahead. Just start telling me when I figure it out. We'll work on that.
There you go. All right. Fire Pants, our dear friend, works at a ShopRite. Some kid who's working at the ShopRite, we're going to say roughly 19, maybe 20 years old. It works!
It's a little low, but it's functional.
No, we'll take it. Okay.
Tiffany says she is toggling between Facebook and YouTube.
Dun, 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 dun.
Multiple platforms.
That's ridiculous, but okay. All right, back to the story.
Fire Pants. Fire.
So this kid who's like 19 or 20 years old, it's a male, I believe, works at this ShopRite. And he's literally sitting in the back on his ass, as 19, 20-year-old kids do.
Oh, yeah.
And a big manager, not a regular manager, like a big manager comes in, maybe GM level, and is like, do you need something to do? And he's like, no, I'm fine. And then she's like, you don't know who I am, do you? And he's like, no. And she's like, well, listen, there's plenty of things. There's busy work. I can give you something to do. And he's like, no, I'm fine. And she's like, just come to the office.
Yeah.
Right? They come to the office. I don't
First off, strong move. I appreciate it.
Wait, tell me.
I appreciate it. Just, no, I'm good. Thanks. No big bird.
I feel like that's a piece of shit move.
Why?
All right.
If you did it when you were 30, yeah, cool.
You applied for the fucking job. Okay? I don't mind you stealing company time. If you get caught, you got caught. Hey, you're right. Whatever you need, I'll do. And then just push the broom for 2 minutes till she leaves, and then sit back on your ass. Yeah, to be blatantly disrespectful and demeaning is a fucked up move.
Maybe you didn't give a shit about the job.
You applied. That's what doesn't make any sense to me. This kid, got up in the morning.
5 seconds ago, your what if argument was maybe the dude hated his wife. Maybe this dude hates his job and doesn't give a fuck.
You didn't even let me finish.
Continue, please.
I hear you that he hates his job. Yeah. I hated every job I ever fucking had. Okay?
Yeah, pretty much.
I woke up in the morning one day and got a shower, brushed my teeth, combed or shaved my head, and then went to my job interview. I wanted this job. When I got the job, they called me a week later. I'm excited. I'm elated. Oh my God, I got a job. Oh my God. Now, the older you get, in 4 months, I'm going to hate this fucking place.
Yep.
But today, I need new tires on my piece of shit car, and I'm glad someone gave me this fucking job. So at least if you get caught being a piece of shit, it's okay to be a piece of shit, but if you get caught being a piece of shit, acknowledge it. Be like, yeah, I got you. Whatever you need. That's how it works. But instead, he's a piece of shit. Here's the thing. You could have just resigned. If you hate it that much, just leave. But no, you're sitting there collecting money and doing nothing.
Yeah.
And you got caught. So now you're caught. Just say yes, man.
I'm sure he has a blossoming career in government.
Oh, it gets so much worse. It gets so much fucking worse. No government for this person ever.
No, bullshit. That's what they all do.
So I guess the long and the short of it is they fire the person. I don't know how it worked or whatever. And this, we're going to say, happens 9 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning. That night, 12 hours later, same parking lot, where there's cameras. This person walks up with a gas can, pours it all over the perceived manager's car, not even the right manager. Pours it all over, lights it on fire, kaboom, car's on fucking fire, walks home with the gas can. Like blatant motherfucker shit. Like just walks home with the gas can, can't afford tires for the car, obviously, couldn't drive. And then
paid for gas though.
Bought the gas can. Right? Like went, spent the $10,
what
got the can.
Was this?
This is ShopRite.
Do you think you bought the gas can at the ShopRite?
I don't think they sell them at ShopRite.
I bet they do.
I don't think they do.
No.
No. But there's like an AutoZone right up the street.
Not
Most gas
definitely.
stations will have a small one
Yes.
because then you need to run out of gas. So like she gets done work and she comes outside, fire pants, and there's just a car on fire. And there's fire trucks and there's cops. And they're like, it's on camera. We know who did it.
This wasn't her car, though, correct?
No,
This
thank
was
God. She's got a Cadillac, a nice one, a white Cadillac.
Was this... Now, this was... She works at the ShopRite?
Yes.
Okay.
She's an employee of the ShopRite.
Okay. So she's aware of who this person is.
Not really. It's a giant store.
Okay.
You don't know every employee in your building. I mean,
Yes,
you
I do.
might know of them, but you don't know them.
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
You're that personable?
I work in a pretty small building now.
But she doesn't. Like, ShopRites are huge.
Yeah.
And there's kids coming in and out who are, new. Like,
I'm
she's,
sure there's a bunch of turnover. You probably just get new people every week.
I would assume as much. It's a shitty job. But that's the thing. You have a
It's a shitty job.
And then when you have a shitty job, the real move is to apply for a less shittier job,
Yes.
get that job, and then you say fuck you and walk out.
Right.
Which we've all done. I've resigned. But I never was like blatantly, if I'm there and you're paying me, I'm going to listen a little bit.
Have you ever... Now, in your job history...
And there's a lot of them.
I've had my fair share also. Do you tend to give 2 weeks notice, or are you just middle fingers out the door?
I never middle finger out the door. I very rarely give 2 weeks notice. It's over like 90% no. 90% is definitely no fucking notice. But I don't middle finger out the door.
Okay.
Because if you're an adult when you're giving 2 weeks notice. I was always a jerk off kid. And I got a new jerk off kid job and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to work here anymore. Like I've resigned over the phone before. I'm a kid. I'm sorry. I was a kid. And
Yeah.
I did such things.
We've all done those things.
Yeah.
Either way, Alec Bullock shot somebody. And there was a car on fire at the ShopRite.
Dun, 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 dun. Now, do you have anything you want to bring? You were bringing up the fucking drummer from fucking Pink Floyd. Fuck Pink Floyd.
Why?
I got a list, motherfucker. You want why?
Today is Nick Mason's birthday.
Who the fuck's Nick Mason?
Nick Mason is the drummer for Pink Floyd.
Obviously not a good drummer.
Obviously not. I don't think he's that good. I mean, is it that hard to be the drummer for Pink Floyd?
We would never call him drummer extraordinaire ever.
No, at no point would I refer to anybody who plays drums for Pink Floyd as an extraordinaire.
Ever. Fucking Pink Floyd. Syd Barrett was the band.
I disagree.
He created it.
So?
And remember, is it Gilmore? Is that his name?
Yes.
Gilmore was brought in to replace Barrett.
And
So
he did.
no, that's the point though. It's not hit. And then he's the guy who has the band. That's where it's fucked up. 4 dudes. Is it 5 dudes or 4 dudes? Originally.
5. I believe 5.
So I think it was 4 originally.
4 originally, yes.
Because like no keys and stuff. So the 4 dudes make the band. Boom, we're a band. Sid is the creative force for said band. And it's like artsy and weird and it's not my fucking thing and some people like it and I'm not that person. Whatever. But it was unique. They invented moving lights. Did you know that?
I did not.
Sid is the guy, like we go and we see like lights that move in a show and
Yeah.
they do like, he invented that.
Sometimes there even are those lights at our shows.
Dun, 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 dun. He invented that. He was the first rock star, I think, you can look this up, to wear like eye makeup on stage. Like it hadn't been done before. Like, and then it became like normalized later. But just to wear like eyeliner and stuff, can you think of anybody before Syd Barrett who did it?
Floyd was like
64, 65.
yeah, like mid 60s.
Yeah.
So
He's like the guy. He did things that became norm later. And then he just one trip too many. He was already
way more than one too many.
well, he was already grappling with mental illness. But
doesn't help.
But surviving, which makes you creative. And then when you put a heavy amount of drugs on top of that,
Yeah.
he just snapped. And so the band is, well, I don't know. You got to help me because I'm not a fan. The famous record, the first one, The Wall's not the first one. That's the second. Dark Side of the Moon's the first one.
Yes.
Is that all Gilmore or is there any Sid on that at all? Because You Crazy Diamond is about Sid.
Yeah. So no, I don't think there may be some tunes that he had a hand in writing, but he's definitely not playing them on that album.
So their major success is without him.
Yes.
But there is no band unless he formed it.
True.
So it's this weird, and let's be honest, a lot of people like the original material.
Yeah, because Dark Side was like their big hit, but it wasn't their first album.
No, that's their commercial
You know,
success.
They're really out there Syd Barrett stuff. It's like Saucer Full of Secrets, which is just so avant-garde and strange that even I, as a fan of the band, don't like.
Okay.
It's a little too much.
I'm wired wrong where I don't appreciate much that's avant-garde. I have problems, and I know that's my shortcoming as a person.
No, it's not. It's just what you like. And for me, I'm sort of in the same boat. And honestly, if I heard Pink Floyd today for the first time, I don't know that I'd be a fan.
Really? I'm shocked by that. Because there's moments in Pink Floyd that I adore. It's just conceptually...
I don't know that I'd be as big of a fan as I was at one point.
I don't want to sit through Shine On You Crazy Diamond for 5 minutes before the real part of the song that I like kicks in. When the verses and the vocals kick in. Like, that's an exceedingly long time.
It is. I agree.
And then so when I got it on CD and then put it on my iPod, I would just fast forward. You know what I mean? And then where I wanted it to come in. And then I'd be like, oh, this is really nice. And it is really nice. And I do enjoy it. But just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not a Floyd guy. And then I guess you have to do... I was told if you did more drugs, I would maybe appreciate it.
I did a lot.
Okay.
And maybe that's what it was.
But I didn't. And just so, but I don't know. I'm just not a Floyd guy. So it's his birthday. Happy birthday. Hope you die soon.
Wow. Jeez. Is anybody else's birthday today?
It might be.
Who else's birthday?
If we ask the peanut gallery, we can't see the fucking things. They don't, I don't
Does
know.
anybody else know whose birthday it is today?
You could check the date. You have a phone. I have a phone. January 27th, birthdays. You could do that, sir. We could produce together.
All right, let's do this.
Nick Mason. It sounds like a guy who'd been in a synth pop band in the early 80s in the UK, is what I meant to say.
Let's see.
January 27th, birthdays.
Yeah. I got famous birthdays today. Let's see what the list says.
Dun, 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 dun.
Mozart's birthday today.
That's a fucking person. I'll take that one.
Right?
Deaf motherfucker. That's it?
It's all this. Wait, there's more.
Is Nick Mason listed? That'd be amazing if he's not listed.
I literally don't know who any of these people are.
Read one.
Freddie Carter, TV actor.
Nope.
Kathleen Lights, YouTube star.
Nope.
Edward Santino.
No. Or we can stop.
Yeah,
they're bad.
I don't know any of these people.
So happy birthday, Nick Mason. I was just kidding. I don't hope you die. I hope you have a nice, long, longevity-filled life. I have a Howie Mandel situation that I heard on a different podcast, which blew...
Oh, you know whose birthday it is?
Whose?
John Witherspoon.
Who the fuck's that?
The old man, the dad from Friday.
He's dead, bro.
Yeah, but it's his birthday.
Oh, I was discussing him yesterday.
That's awesome.
Yesterday, in a car.
Dude, don't anybody go in there. 35, 45 minutes.
He used to open up for Richard Pryor back in the day.
That's awesome.
He's a pretty good comedian.
Dude, he's funny as shit.
As shit.
As shit.
Psst, with the spray bottle. Aw.
How come every time I'm in the kitchen, you're in the kitchen?
I remember, did you ever watch Black Jesus?
No.
It was so good. And he was the homeless guy on Black Jesus. Black Jesus is like a very underrated fucking little TV show. It ended because Charlie Murphy died.
Oh.
And then Witherspoon died. So that's like 2 major fucking characters.
Yeah.
That shit's over. Black Jesus is awesome. You should watch that shit. I think, is it on fucking Hulu? It's on one of the streamers. How many streamers do you pay for in a month in your life?
Oh, I don't even know anymore.
All right,
lot.
let's do the list. Do you have Hulu?
Yep.
Do you have Netflix?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have Amazon Prime?
Yep.
That's 3. Disney?
No.
Okay, good. I have Disney. I don't pay for it. Steal it. Peacock.
No.
And then there's another one that I never remember. Paramount. That's it.
I think we have that one. And I have HBO Max.
You pay for that?
Yeah.
See, I have HBO on my cable, so I already have
I don't
HBO.
have cable.
So when did you cut the cord?
Not long, less than a year.
And has it changed your life at all?
I don't watch TV, so I don't really care.
No,
I hardly ever watch TV.
No sports, nothing.
I also have ESPN Plus, so I can watch UFC fights.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm an Eagles guy, so
I am also the Eagles guy.
I have to watch every fucking game. I need TV for that.
I know.
So I pay for my cable every month. Dun dun dun.
Fair.
Where do you watch them?
Wherever I want.
No, I'm serious though. Like how? Like so you can watch the games through what service or how do you do it?
You can get Fox Sports app. We'll have it.
Really?
Yeah.
Even if it's on like NBC and shit?
No, you have to get the other one.
So you have to go app to app to watch an Eagles game.
Yeah, depending on the network that's airing the game.
Yeah, I can't handle that shit. I'm an old man. I can't do it. Generation X. Not a thing.
It's just like a channel. You watch them on different channels when you have cable.
All right, that makes sense. Putting apps on my TV melts my face. I have Sonys. I have 2 Sony TVs. I have one in my living room, one in my bedroom. They're exactly the same TV, just 5 years difference in age. No, they are. I had like a 65 in my living room or something. And then I went to my neighbor's house. He has like an 85-inch television. I was like, I would like a bigger television, please. So
this thing is great.
So then I got a 75-inch, which is a pretty big TV.
Pretty big.
It's not an 85-inch. And so I put the 65 in my bedroom, and now that's one bedroom, like, ah, because it's so big.
Yeah.
Like, it's huge, right? Females will go in and be like, that's a big television. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's my neighbor's 85, you know. And he's like, I might want to get a 100-inch TV for my wall, you know. And then I'm like, I will.
It's not the thing that you want girls to think is big in the bedroom.
Well, I'm just saying. I have no snappy retort. I like, oh, it's really big. I have nothing to say.
No,
I don't care. I'm old. I don't give a fuck anymore. There was a time when I probably gave a fuck.
Does it work?
Yeah, most of the time.
All right, well, at our age, then it's not a problem.
I woke up this morning. All right, this is some personal shit, and you don't have to answer this if you want.
Okay.
I'm late 40s. Morning boners are less common now than they were in my 20s.
Yeah, well, boners in general are less common than when you're in your 20s because that's 90% of your day.
But every morning when I was in my 20s, I learned I'd have to get up with this fucking thing and you have to piss really bad.
Yeah.
And I'd have to do 10 push-ups just to soften my own dick and get the blood running through my heart.
At no point have I ever done that.
It works. And then you can piss. Well, this morning I woke up
Why can't you piss?
Because it's up in the air!
You just pee in the shower.
Ha ha! Which I don't like to do. And then this morning...
It's a drain. You understand.
No. I'm not saying I don't pee in the shower. I pee in the fucking shower.
There's 2 kinds of people on this earth. People that pee in the shower and fucking liars. All right?
Amen.
That's it.
That is the truth. I have mistakenly pooped in the shower, but that's whatever.
Did you waffle stomp?
I didn't have to. I have a whole system.
Wow. This has occurred more often than...
Well, no, it was like an illness. So it wasn't much of... You know what I mean? It's one of the...
Yeah,
like, and you're already there. You're like, all right. So it's liquidy.
It's not going to stop.
And you just get the really excessively hot water. It works. I bleach everything. So...
We came on this podcast to discuss current events and musical topics, and here we are, down the hole, shitting in the shower. Fuck yourself.
It was a mistake. It wasn't intentional. I was there.
Dude, how many people intentionally shit in the shower?
Intentionally?
Yeah. Do you think there's a group of people out there in the world that intentionally shit in the shower?
Because there's a group of person that anything you can think of pornographically that's into it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the thing. I know someone shitting in the shower right now, probably as they're listening to this.
It's not that, but do we...
We have fucked up friends. You're gonna lie to yourself? Our friends are fucked up.
I don't know if they're fucked up enough to intentionally shit in the shower.
No, to admit that they shit in the shower, we don't know. But they shit in the shower. I know you do. No?
If you text or call into the show right now and tell us in detail that you intentionally shit in the shower, and we'll talk about it on this air, we'll give you a Wawa gift card.
We have them, like literally. Like.
Oh shit, there is one right there. That wasn't even...
We have a $10 Wawa gift card.
$10
Oh no, I did it wrong.
gift card.
There it is, $10 Wawa gift card.
If you call in and tell us about shitting in your shower.
And we'll put you live.
We will. We'll even have you on the show. You will not be allowed to use Vex's shower.
Ever. Well, there's a guest shower, because I'm not poor, but...
But...
I used to be poor.
Do you want to be that close to it?
I gotta be honest, all right. Being a roofer and working, there was a time in my life where I worked for Orkin Pest Control. There's nothing I can't survive.
Oh,
nothing.
That's probably...
I can clean anything. I can clean anything. Like, this is in my book. This is the part where I should plug it. I'm not gonna plug it. 12 feet tall and bulletproof. Lulu Publishing. Actually, Lulu.com is the publisher. Anyway, buy the book, you motherfuckers.
My Facebook microphone definitely got none of that.
Lulu Publishing.
Oh, I thought we weren't doing that.
12 feet tall and bulletproof. The Vex autobiography. Normally I pull the book up. It's right there. I'm not doing it.
There it is. I see it.
Let me do it.
Right next to David Bowie.
I got that as a gift from your drummer.
He's your drummer too.
Now. Back then, he was your drummer. We do pilfer. He's a good drummer.
I agree. Johnny Mac, you're a good drummer.
You're a good drummer, Johnny Mac.
Red Star thinks so too. Stir the pot.
Dead air. Okay. I like that. I like dead air. Okay.
We usually try to avoid that, but hey.
Because you did that, I lost all semblance of a thread.
I don't even remember what we were
I have no idea. You've like, that's good.
I remember people shitting in the showers, you plugging a book, David Bowie and
Oh.
Ziggy Stardust, and Johnny Mac.
I now remember.
Perfect. I'm glad I got you there.
I worked for Orkin Pest Control.
Yes, that's where it was. Pest control.
Now, I don't know. All right, I remember I had it's one of these many shitty jobs. I'm sitting in an office and a desk. Now, the irony is, it was if it rained, I was at this desk. If it snowed, I was at this desk. If it was nice out, I was at this desk. And they paid me the same amount of money every week, and it was pretty good money back in the 90s. And the Orkin little old man would come in once a month and spray, and I'm like, that job looks easy. I'm like, hey man, are they hiring? I want to be a tech. I don't want to sit here at a desk all day, you know? And he's like, his little man, he's like, yeah. And he gave me a card. So I went and I applied. And of course they hire you because they'll hire anyone, it turns out. I didn't know that. Because it's like high turnover because the job sucks.
Because the job is fucked.
So eventually I go on vacation for my job. I never return back. I'm just like, I quit.
Nope.
Bye-bye. And then I started working. And
another job that did not get 2 weeks notice.
No. Orkin doesn't either. So I go to Orkin Pest Control.
Spoiler alert.
And the first 2 weeks, I'm in a truck with a guy who's like late 40s, early 50s, like boomer guy, because it's a long time ago. I was fucking 20.
He probably looked 70.
No, he was cool, man. And he was like, I really loved Pat Benatar when I was a kid, man. And he was cool. He liked him. And he was like, and I would literally, I was like podcasting then all day in the truck. I'm like, tell me about your life. Where'd you grow up? What kind of music did you like? Like shit like that to pass the day. And then occasionally we'd have to go kill some things and then clean them up. And that part sucked. So we do this for 2 weeks. At the end of the 2 weeks, they're like, okay, your test to get your license isn't for another month. So in that month, we got to put you somewhere. And they put me on night work like you.
Yeah.
And they sent me to Atlantic City in a work truck. And I had to get on a scissor lift, and hang a thing called Nixle light on the beams of a fucking indoor garage for the bus, the casino buses, the terminal. Because pigeons would land on it and shit all over the buses. And I could only do this at night because buses are zipping in and out all day, right? So I check in at midnight, that's when my job starts, in fucking AC, and I gotta start gluing this shit on. And the guy who's assigned at the casino 24/7 as the guy, not 24/7, but his whole job is to be the fucking Orkin guy at the casino. If they kill, and he's like, this is a pretty easy gig, man. You can kind of do what you want. He takes me on a tour. He's like, I recently lost 200 pounds. That was weird. Like, he was one of those guys with the really hangy skin. It was a thing. He was a nice guy. And so he took me to the place where we get a free lunch in the fucking, the cafeteria and in the casino, all this shit. But I have to go to work eventually. And I'm like, all right. And this is before iPods. I wasn't smart enough to wear headphones. I'm just sitting there gluing shit. Yeah. And it's a forebearer, or it's like a precursor to what's going to be the rest of my life. Living on a ladder in the scissor lifts. But I don't know this shit, right? So I'm in the scissor lift and I'm just working. And motherfucker, at like 4 o'clock in the morning, a casino bus clips my scissor lift. I didn't fall out of it, but I fell inside of it. And I felt something happen to my back. And it worried me. I was a young man. I'm like, oh my God, I got a back problem at 20? It's fucked up, you know? And so they sent me to the hospital. They gave me a shot. I didn't like that. I had to drive home in the work truck. That was a whole fucking thing. Then my mother's like, call a lawyer. And I was on fucking like, I spent the entire summer on workman's comp. Nothing was wrong. Nothing was wrong.
I'm good.
Nothing was wrong. But she's like, no, you're going to get some money out of this. You can't get run over by casino people. It's a problem.
Yeah.
He was probably drunk. 4 o'clock in the morning. Why are you clipping scissor lifts? You're not paying attention where your bus is at? Yeah. I wasn't in the roadway. I was against the wall, motherfucker. Why are you hitting me? No problem. So I'm out the entire summer. I had just bought what became the band house. We spent the whole summer working on the band house as a family because I was there and they were paying me for this. Well, now they're pissed at me. They're like, you know what? You got to come back to work Monday. And And I call my lawyer. He's like, yeah, go back. You know what I mean? Like, you can do light duty.
Yeah.
And I go in and they were like, all right, I need you to go to here, 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 and here. And I'm like, I don't have a license. They're like, you can use my license. So now we're fast and fucking loose with the licenses.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, that's okay. You told me before it was a fucking thing. Frank's Nursery. Do you remember Frank's Nursery?
Yes, I do.
I told this story one time before in the podcast. I walk in, they're like, oh, it's in the back, buddy. And I'm like, okay.
What's in the back?
And I open the door, 78 dead mice. As far as the eye can see. From the poison, and they're just stacked. And the room is about 2 of these. Like, we're in this dining room.
Okay.
2 of these. You open the doors, and it's just as far as your eye can see dead mice.
Oh.
And it's my job to pick them up. I don't have gloves or anything. So I go back to my work truck, and I'm like, I can survive anything. Right? So I put a plastic fucking bag on this arm, a plastic bag on fucking this arm. Now I got 2 black bags, right? 2 black bags. And when you ever pick up a dead mouse,
Yeah.
it feels like plastic because there's no bones, right? The cartilage just feels like plastic when they're dead. 70, I counted 1, 2, 78 dead mice. I have 2.
You counted them.
Huh?
It's concerning that you counted
I
them.
count everything, it turns out. I have a problem. I have OCD. I know what the fuck I am. I'm not, it's not a bad thing. Dude, we're already...
I count a lot of shit, too.
Really?
Yeah, all the time. Stairs.
Yeah.
I know how many steps are everywhere.
So do I. If I'm walking from my truck with something heavy to a building, I know it's 78 paces, or it's 64 paces, or it's 28 paces.
Yes. Mm-hmm. All the time.
So see, you're as fucked up as I am. Don't tell me it's concerning.
At no point did I ever even debate that at all. I would wager that I'm way more fucked up than you.
Morning Radio 5. All right, so I pick up all these dead fucking mice. I got 2 bags filled with dead mice. I put them in the back of the truck. It's at this moment I decide I'm resigning from this position. I did the task, but nah, I'm good. Now, I drove from my house in my work truck to Pennsauken, New Jersey, right? Then I got the work orders and I went to work. I don't have a car. I take the work truck back to Pennsauken, drop the bags of dead mice in the office, throw the keys on the desk, and I'm like, I resign. And I walk out. And this is before cell phones, it's the 90s. I have to call my friend Twisted. Here's a shout out for Twisted. On a payphone. Of course, he has no job. He's home. And he's like, what's up? I'm like, can you please come to Pennsauken and rescue me?
Yeah.
And he picked me up, and I never looked back. And fuck that job.
That's pretty close to a fuck you, I quit.
It is a fuck you, I quit. I wasn't licensed. It was irresponsible.
That was 100% irresponsible.
78 dead mice. Come on.
That's a lot of dead
That was
birds.
excessive. And the people who work there knew that back room was just filled with dead mice.
Oh yeah, they sent you there for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, they're in the back.
like as if somehow you're just gonna open the door and they're back there like smoking cigarettes and playing cards. They're in the back, just hanging out.
Get those fuckers.
It turns out they
What's
were
the
not.
worst job you ever had?
Oh,
Working's not it for me, by the way.
no,
No.
worst job I ever had.
Ever.
I worked at a company. I was a maintenance technician at a company that was cared very little for worker safety.
Okay, I respect that.
It was a processing company, basically like what a quarry would do, but minus the actual digging on site. Like product was shipped in and then you processed it.
Okay.
One of the things they produced was you ever see that movie Erin Brockovich?
I've never seen it, but I
Julia
know it.
Roberts, but you know the general premise of it, right?
I guess so.
She's like a lawyer's aide, and they get a big settlement for these people who work for this company and live in the town around the company, and the company poisoned the water, basically dumping the shit into the water.
Yes.
And everyone has all these health problems and cancer and blah, 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 blah. Well, what are we doing?
They said they want more likes.
Oh, okay. So anyway, the chemical that made all those people in that town sick was called hexavalent chromium.
Okay.
The company I worked for produced that.
No!
They processed it.
Wow.
Yes. Now, when you went into the building when they were processing this particular chemical, they told you that you had to wear like a Tyvek suit and a respirator and shit.
That's good.
That's great. Except for the fact that you also have to do work around this building, and there are plumes of smoke of this stuff billowing out the doors, and they have no concern for your, PPE at that point.
Interesting.
So no, I definitely left that job fairly quickly. That was probably the worst job I ever had.
Wow. How long ago was that?
Not that long ago.
For real?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Maybe 3 years ago?
That's fucking recent.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to tell you mine if you care.
I do care. And so do the people, I bet.
And it's dark. I hear it's dark. So I apologize for the Facebook feed being dark. We're talking about getting lighting, actually. It has been discussed.
It was discussed. We're working on it. You got to start somewhere, as this is our first foray into multiple platforms.
Simultaneous. Now the light's so bright here, it's shining off my head.
I don't have that problem.
All right. I quit college at the tender age of 18. Okay? Smart move. And I was like, I'm going to get a full-time job and make all the money. And I had left a busboy position. Actually, it was a waiter. No, it was still a busboy. A busboy position where I was making $50 a shift, which is pretty good. So if I worked a double, as a kid, I made $100 in cash. That's pretty good. And like, I thought so anyway. $100 a day as a child.
And what year was this?
93. 94.
That's solid money.
Solid money, right?
Yeah.
30 fucking years ago. So I leave college because I'm failing everything. So I leave. And I'm like, I'm gonna get a job. And I had this older friend who worked in a bearings factory. Now, ironically enough, Maz, who was the drummer for the short-lived Superstar Galactica and is currently the drummer of Solo, still works for a variation of that company to this day, making bearings. They would make bearings as big as this house.
Yeah.
That would go inside the space shuttle and shit like that. But I'm a kid. I don't know anything about manufacturing or production. I'm 18. So I go in, they hire me, fine. And I had to be up at like 5:30 in the morning, which when you're 18 is just staggering, right? Yeah. And I had to be on site by 7 a.m. We start working, like boom, we're there. I'm like, this is insane. So I'm already like, right? So I go in. I couldn't afford work boots yet. My friend lent me boots. They were pieces of shit. And I wear them, and there's the whole thing. It's a factory, so it's a concrete floor. My little brain can't comprehend standing for 8 hours on a concrete floor. I just can't fathom it.
You realize this is what I do every day, right?
I mean, I'm a roofer. Fuck off. So, but at 18, I didn't grasp it. I went from like baby shit life, college, and then now I'm in this real world with adults, men who make money.
Who are not pussies.
No. Very, very tough dudes. So it's like, I don't know, it was freezing cold. I got hired in February. It was freezing. There's no heat. And it was just one of my tasks. They had antiquated machinery literally from the late 1800s because it was the best way at the time. It wasn't all digital to make these bearings.
Yeah.
And it made, you know what a hopper is?
Yes.
No, a dumpster, like an industrial-sized dumpster filled with mud, which is the debris that comes out of these machines that grinds the metal and makes this shit.
Yeah.
I had to go in with a hopper on a forklift, and I had no license to drive a forklift, I might fucking add, and no training, and put this big hopper and climb in manually with a shovel and empty the mud from the giant dumpsters into a hopper, take the hopper, dispose of it, bring the hopper back, and this was my life. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't like this job. And you have to get in, and it was waist high. So it was kind of like standing in quicksand.
Nice.
Because it was waist high and just shoveling it out. They didn't have a better system at this point, but that's fine.
I like the idea of quicksand.
And I remember my legs started to break out from the oil and whatever the fuck I'm in. So that was annoying. And that wasn't every day, but that was a cross like that industrial sludge with a shovel and a bucket. And that was my life for a little while. Okay, fine. That's not even the worst part. Then inside sometimes, okay, there's a shell of a bearing, then there's a cage, which is made out of brass. And inside the cage, all the little balls go in and the whole thing moves. Mm-hmm. Cages come out and they're like stamped metal and you gotta polish off the edges.
Yes.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And they're like, yeah, this week you're gonna grind cages. And I'm like, what? So there were like 10,000 cages and I would get a cage. Grind, and I'd put it over there, and then there was 9,999 cages left, and I get another cage, and I'd grind, by hand! And I'm like, this is a waste of my intellect, sir! Now, I did all this. I shut the fuck up. And when I got my paycheck, I think it was $160 after taxes. And I was like, what? What? So if I worked 5 days, 5 full 8-hour days, and you buy yourself lunch on the lunch truck and it's a whole thing, I made $1.60, bro. $1.60 for slave fucking labor. I worked 5 days at the restaurant. I would have made $500. $500.
Yeah, that's a bad gig.
So I didn't last long. And then there's more probably, but that was about the worst of it. Oh, and then like my direct supervisor was probably into boys.
Oh, that's rough.
That was rough.
That's not great.
He didn't touch me or anything. I didn't, but he was very nice to me. And then he wasn't very nice to me. It was like fighting with a chick. It was weird. It was a whole thing.
That's strange.
And then my friend got a job as a bill collector. It was a federal bond. It was probably a federal bond. All right. Anyway, over top of a Blockbuster Video, there was a place where if you didn't pay your Finger Hut catalog money, they'd call you on the phone like, "Where's our Finger Hut money? Can you
fuck yourself?"
And that was $8.50 an hour.
Like Columbia House, trying to get money.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was like. Because back then it was all mail, it wasn't internet. And I'd be like, "Hi, I'm calling from the Finger Hut catalog."
So
Click.
remember when we all ordered those Columbia House CDs for a penny?
I never did.
No, you never did.
I remember even then I'm like, I don't want to get caught up with my name and my information to be in that thing, you know. And then I had a girlfriend who did it, and then she was like addicted. Like she would just fork over like $100 a month for all these new cassette tapes. It wasn't CDs back then; it was cassette tapes.
That's right.
And she was on the fucking Columbia House ride.
But you know what else you can do when you're a conniving piece of shit teenager?
What?
I'm not saying that I was one.
Oh, you've never done this.
It was 100% me. I'm going to own it right now.
Oh, okay.
I literally got the Columbia House brochures where you can order your introductory 10 CDs for a penny.
Yeah.
And I got like 8 of them. And I made up fake names and sent them to all my neighbors' houses and just took them out of their mail.
That's amazing. There's a couple of million laws that were broken there.
I don't give a shit.
Okay.
Statute of limitations is long past. Fuck you, Columbia House.
The Vex on Vex podcast does not condone any of the illegal things done by patrons.
Yeah.
I want to tell the Howie Mandel story because we're getting towards the end.
Oh shit, we forgot about Howie Mandel.
I didn't forget.
I know you didn't.
I forgot. I'm a liar. Okay. Howie Mandel is on a different podcast, and it's Bill Maher. And Bill Maher says to him, "Hey man, dude to dude, what's with the whole fucking, you got like germs issues, right?"
Yeah, he definitely is a germaphobe, right?
And he's like,
he won't shake hands with people.
He won't. And he's like, "I'm going to tell you right now, Bill, but it's not a fun story." And Bill's like, "Oh, I want to fucking hear this shit."
I feel like when they start with "it's not a fun story," it's probably going to be a fun story.
Howie Mandel is roughly 4, maybe 5 years old in this story. His parents take him to the beach, right? And they're playing on the fucking beach. And he's like chilling, and he got bit by something, right? Whatever he got bit by. Now, I don't know what it is. I'm not good at terminology. But again, he's 4 or 5 when this happens. And he gets home that night, and he's like scratching. And as he's scratching and scratching, he saw whatever's under his skin leave.
Ah!
And he's 4 or 5, and he's like, "Okay, this is odd." So he goes and he tells his mommy. And his mom's like, "Oh my God, this is scary. You know, I don't know what that is. So we're going to take you to the dermatologist."
Good call.
So they take him to the dermatologist. But you got to understand, Howie Mandel's old as fuck. And this is in the 60s, right?
Yeah.
Is he maybe 70s? I don't know. And it's fucking a long time ago.
Yeah, Howie's been around for a minute.
He has. He's 40 years in, right?
Yeah.
So you figure he's 60-something. So this is in the 60s.
Has to be. I mean, dude was, what? He was doing stand-up when we were kids.
Yeah, in the early 80s.
Yeah.
40 years. Okay, you ready? They take him to the dermatologist. The dermatologist says, "Oh, we have never seen this happen in a human being before. What happens is a specific fly lands on cattle, and there might be an opening in the skin, and they burrow and they lay their larva inside the skin."
Oh, fuck you.
We've never seen it happen to a person before. Next 2 days, whatever, 3 days, there's a convention of people who do what I do, dermatologists. "Can I bring your son? And can I please put him on the stage? And we're going to take care of this for you. We're not going to charge you.
Right.
But I want these people to see this anomaly."
Crazy
because
shit.
it's a thing. And he's like, "Well, my mom was cool, 4 or 5 years old. So you got to figure, what is she? 24? She's a kid, the mom, right? She takes the little baby, and they had him in his tighty whities. And they lay him on a gurney. But it's in front of a bunch of doctors. And the mom's in the audience. So maybe it's like 40 people, dermatologists. And then no molestation or anything weird. It's not like that. But they get him on the thing. And he said, "They tied me down to the gurney." And he's like, even at 4 or 5, I was like, "That's odd."
Right.
And they were like, "We've never seen this before. This is a thing of unprecedented blah, blah, blah. Here's how we're going to fix it." Now, you know what dry ice is, obviously?
Yeah.
They used, now it's different, but this is in the 60s and 70s. They use a machine that more or less freezes your skin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it feels like it's burning your skin like dry ice would do.
Yeah.
And he's tied to a gurney, and they start hammering his shoulder with this fucking ice thing. It bursts the skin open. They're burning him on a stage at 4 or 5 in front of 40 people. And he's like, ah, ah, he's screaming. His mother jumps up. She's like, get your fucking hands off my kid. She grabs him and they leave. Now, she won't take him back to the dermatologist. She's like, I can't do this to this child.
Right.
So he said, every night, and my mom did shit like this. You know what a hot compress is?
Yeah.
You get the fucking, like, the washcloth. It's red hot water.
Yeah.
And she'd find a spot where the eggs were, because they were moving, right? They were all over his body. And they would take one a day. And she'd get it, and she'd rub it and rub it and rub it with this washcloth till it burst through, and then the hot water killed what was ever was in there, and that was it. And it hurt, but it wasn't as bad as lasering it.
Yeah.
And he said it took almost a full year of every day getting a patch on his body where the larva was, and his mother doing this with the fucking cloth. And this made him a fucking germaphobe for the rest of his life.
100% acceptable. That's fucking creepy and horrible.
And so he's like, something as innocuous as being on the beach brought me a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's just in me. I don't want to touch anyone because what if they give me something? Dude, he's not even bald. You know that, right?
No.
He just shaves his head to avoid having germs in his hair.
Well, so do you. You have a full head of hair.
I'm bald as fuck. Like, my shit grows out like this.
Yeah, I'm trying to help you out, man.
Krusty the Clown style.
Nice. Like Hihashi.
My hair, it's so fucking curly, I would look like Krusty the Clown. I really would. I really
That's
would.
awesome. You should do it.
No. Everybody says, there's the voice. Everybody says that I should do it. No, Krusty the Clown. No. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Krusty the Clown. Fucking Krusty Burger. Dude's got his own restaurant. That's amazing.
Man, in the TV Dad's Wrestling podcast that you stopped listening to, because I can tell you didn't, the clowns are featured. Krusty's in there. Oh, that's a whole thing.
Do we know Krusty's real full name?
Oh, do you remember it with the superfluous third nipple? What is it? What is it?
Herschel Krostowski.
It is Herschel Krostowski.
Dad's a rabbi.
Who was the guy that he made up who was heavily insured?
Oh,
with the beard?
yeah.
What was that guy's name? Irvin R. Murrow or some shit?
Yeah.
He's like, Irvin R. Murrow is insured for
I should know this.
surprising amount of money.
Oh, Rory B. Bellows.
Oh, it really was Rory B. How do you know? That's a band name.
Because I am a giant Simpsons fan.
I'm an old Simpsons fan.
The life of Rory B. Bellows is insured for a surprisingly large amount.
So in the 90s, I was a little obsessed with The Simpsons. I'd come home from my stupid job, and they would be on every night.
Yeah.
For like 2 hours, like 4 episodes. So I would just eat and watch The Simpsons every fucking night.
Why wouldn't you?
It was great. All right, so then I met who became my second wife. Her name's Dawn. And Dawn's like, I don't like The Simpsons, which hurt my heart. And she's like, I watch...
You should have never...
I should have ran.
That should have been the biggest red flag on the planet right there.
It's a pretty big red flag.
If you don't like The Simpsons, you're possibly soulless.
She turned me on to Family Guy, though. I wasn't into.
Not as good.
Which I wasn't into. And then I found American Dad, which I adore.
Yeah, you're that big a fan?
Roger the Alien might be my spirit animal.
And
if you think about a lot of
I
things...
can see that. I can see you guys hanging out.
A lot of stuff together. Me and Roger. Love Roger. It's throughout my house. Like right behind you is a pillow. That's a Roger pillow.
I know.
Okay. And then somebody gave me... Well, Samantha Firepants actually gave me a fucking... what's that thing where they clone them in the computer? It's not clone. 3D print.
Okay.
A little Roger. Because you clone them. You can't... Do you think...
That's not what we're doing.
Do you think they're cloning people? Right at the end of the podcast? Do you think
100%.
Really?
100%.
You think it's a thing?
Without a doubt.
Really?
100%.
I don't know if I believe it. I don't know. And then, do they not have belly buttons? Because you're grown in a lab and you weren't born by one.
It's hard to say. That's a topic for another show, I guess.
Well, we can write it down. We'll put a pin in it, as they say.
We'll add it to the list and we'll get to it.
No. We are officially up to date.
Yeah, we're doing well lately. We've been hitting on our topics. It's somehow better than we usually do.
It's making a list and checking it twice.
That's right.
You got to find out who's naughty or nice. I don't know. I think that's it, bro.
It is. But the real question is, what's happening tomorrow, sir?
Ladies and gentlemen, the band of Starscream is performing at the Jackson Inn with Ashes to Vanity, Embers Remain, and our dear friends in the band Doghouse. And the order's wrong, so technically Embers Remain starts, Doghouse is second, then Starscream, then Ashes to Vanity. That's the order. You gonna come?
Most likely.
That's most likely. It's not a yes, motherfucker.
I'll be there.
That'd be nice.
Fuck you.
And then Gutter Royale. I'm sorry, Gutter Royal. They don't like when I say Royale.
You always do too, and I try to not say that. There's
Well,
no
why?
E on the end of it.
Royale with cheese?
Yeah, because they ain't got the metric system.
He's like, I don't know, I didn't go to Burger King.
Royale with cheese.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode number 169 of the Vex on Vex podcast.
69, dude.
Morning Radio 5. Dave, thank you.
Always a pleasure, sir.
The Vex on Vex podcast is available on the Podbean application on your phone under the Loud and Loaded network. This is Vex X and Dave telling you,
Have a good day.
stay frosty. I know how to shut this on. There we go. Every time. It's still on.
But that one's still on.
Go hit the button.
I don't know how to do
Neither
it.
do I.
I'm gonna go push buttons until something happens.